Well, hello there everybody. My name is Matt Zentz, and today I'm going to help you build a landing page with Marketpath's newest package called the Landing Page with Grid Builder. So let's go ahead and log in. And the very first thing that we're going to do is create a brand new site. And we'll call this Matt's Test Landing Pages because we can't think of anything else more excited. Yes, I'm logged in as Joe Schmo, but yeah, what can you do? Okay, so I'm just going through the new site wizard, selecting the package, selecting a development domain, which doesn't cost anything. Actually, nothing in here costs anything until you actually go live with the site. So you can take, a year to build it, hopefully not, but you can take as long as you want to build or mess around with new sites, and then go live when you're ready. So now we're at the final step of this site wizard. You can see that the landing package is there, but you can also search for it here, and it's going to narrow down the list. And so I'm going to select this theme. I got to agree to the jQuery license there, and now I'm going to confirm this site. So everything looks good. Matt's Test Landing Page. This is my account. This is the domain, starter plan, foundation landing pages with Grid Builder is the theme. So we're going to create this. So give this just a little bit of time. Now, one thing to keep in mind while this is building the site, which should only take 30 seconds, maybe a minute at the most, is that this is not a website builder. We're not trying to replace the complete do-it-yourself non-developer website builder. We're actually providing this as an extension to make it easier for non-technical editors, those who don't want to know the gory details about a site, to actually build out really nice looking landing pages, and then still have that flexibility from a development standpoint where a developer could come in and add any complete custom widgets within the site or add additional code for marketing platforms. Say you're using Salesforce or HubSpot or something along those lines that is tracking activity on the site, then you can add that, have a developer add that. But as far as building out a landing page, that's what this package allows you to do. So let's go ahead and jump in. The very first place I'm going to go is the all content, and you can see here that everything's already been brought in and published. And so I'm going to go out here. I'm going to show you the preview for this landing page 1, which comes with the package. And you can see that it's got a banner up at the top. It has a little bit of text there, kind of a primary message, a few buckets here in the middle, and then a 2/3 and 1/3 with a conversion form, and then a simple footer at the bottom. So we're going to build something similar, but I'm just going to walk you through the steps. So let's go ahead and go to articles, because this is what we're using here, an article. And we're going to call this first landing page. So we walk through, that's pretty much all we need to do is give it a first landing page. You don't have to select a folder unless you want to organize it better. But we do have to select a template. And I'm going to jump in here and select the Grid Builder template. I'll go over this one a little bit later. That's more technical for developers. I'll do that at the end. And then there's this is a landing page, so you're probably sending people here from somewhere else. So you may or may not need to do any of this SEO. So I'm going to skip it for now. And these fields come automatically with an article, image, summary, and content. I'm not using them. The content would actually show up on the site, but I want to use the banner object down here in the custom fields and the content rows. So let's go ahead and do the banner first. So if I chose just a simple banner and I publish this just as it is, let's go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to jump up here and click the View Preview link. Close this one. You can see that the banner is all it is just the text, the title of the page. So we want to change that. We want to put a nice image in here. So let's go ahead and change that to a slider. And I'm going to select the one item that we have in here. I could create a new one, and I'll show you. It's got an image, it's got a banner header, a subheader, and it has a link, some button text, and the position of that content that you can add in there. But that's really not the whole point of this. So I'm just going to select the one I have. I'll publish it. You can see it's a medium banner size. There's Skinny and Hero that I can choose from. And as soon as I edit, now you can see the banner pop in there. And I can move this again from here to the middle to the right. I can change all of this text, or if there's no text in it, it just won't show it at all. It'll just show an image. So now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and jump down here to the main course, the content rows. So I'm going to click New Row. And basically what we're doing here is we're building rows and then the columns that are in those rows. So this description field is just informational only. It is not used when the rows are rendered out. So we're going to call this one primary message. And let's see here. Got a little very amazing primary message here. We need to add a column because there's no columns. If we tried to save this, yep, it's going to throw an error. You can see that way down here. At least one column is required. So we're going to add our column. I'm going to change this to a heading 1. Again, SEO value, whatever you want to be. It's a landing page. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And so you will see that this single column is going to hit right here in the middle. Now, let's say that I want to make it, I'm going to give it a color. So that's one thing that we can do here. We can change the row and we can give it a custom background color. So I can use any HTML formatting, RGB, CMYK. I can even just put red or white or whatever. But I am choosing this hexadecimal value, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a blue. So let's go ahead and refresh that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a green. But notice that it doesn't stretch, so that looks a little silly like that. So what I'm going to do now is add a row style. There's all these different row styles that I can add, and this one is a full width. So let's go ahead and choose this. And then I have two options here. I can do full width content or restricted width content. If I do full width content, then if I had multiple columns, they would go all the way to the left edge and the right edge of the browser screen or the browser window. If I do restricted width, it's going to stick to this left and right here in the middle, which is 1200 pixels wide. So I'm going to do full width. It doesn't matter, I have a short message, so we want it to stretch all the way across. And ta-da, just that easy. Let's add a little bit of padding to it too. So I don't want to choose these paddings here apply to the content areas. So I'm going to choose custom padding here for the row, and we're going to do a top padding of 2 and a bottom padding of 2. So it's going to add a little bit more space between these two. There we go. And so that is the first row. So now I'm going to move on to the second row. Nothing else to do there. I'm going to create 3 buckets in this row. We're going to call this the 3 buckets. And see, remember that other template? There's a row capture. That's the different row type but you need to use Grid Builder unless you're a developer and want to capture content in a template. Again, which I will talk about a little bit later. So let's go ahead. We got 3 buckets. I'm not going to change any row settings just yet. So I'm going to add content here. I'm going to add an image at the top. And we're just going to select this guy here. And since I'm going to make this 1/3 because I want 3 buckets, so 1/3 of 1200, which is the total width of that main area, is 400, if I did my math right. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And there's my image. And now I'm going to have a title for this image, first item. Very, very fancy. I know you're all impressed. And then we can take a little bit of lorem ipsum here if we want. I got some lorem ipsum handy. Let me grab it. Now you're all very excited about that. Okay, so we got this, and I'm going to create 2 more columns. Now, one thing to keep note: I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. It adds this weird space. So one of the things that you can do, You don't have to know HTML, but if you click source and you copy the source, and then you come down here, you click source, and you copy, select all, Control A, and then Control V for paste, then it's going to get rid of that space. So kind of a little bit of a kludgy way, but these WYSIWYG editors are not perfect, as you've probably experienced. So now we got a first item, a second item, and we have a third item. And now I'm going to publish this out, and you're going to see those appeared down below. Ta-da! But they look very terrible because there is no padding, there's no spacing between them, and they're all the same image, and they have lorem ipsum, which is old but works. I get tired of lorem ipsum. Okay, so what we're going to do now is in the row settings there are some styles that we want to add: horizontal padding, vertical padding, horizontal margin, vertical margin. Now what this does, when you select these, it applies it to the columns within the row. So we're just going to select all four. It's kind of anytime you have more than one column, it's probably a good idea to do that, unless you want the column content to like butt up against each other and be right next to each other. But this should satisfy our spacing issue just by selecting those. And there you go. So now we have some decent spacing. Those are the three columns that I added there. Now, the next item on the schedule here is I'm going to create a testimonial role. Sadly, I did not write any special content for this, so I'm going to have to make it up as I go. So let's see. We're going to change the background color on this to, I don't even know what this color is. This is a green color, I think. Oh no, that's what I want to do. Okay, I'll go back to that. No, this is I don't know why I chose this, but we'll go with it. This is an amazing purple color. So we're going to do custom background color. Again, I can select an image for this too if I wanted to, but I really don't feel like doing that. I don't think I have any that would serve as good background images. Okay, so now I got to add a column, of course, and this is going to be my testimonial. Pretty amazing. I know. Joe Schmo, Indianapolis, Indiana. All right. So I'm gonna take all this, select all. Again, Control A if you're not used to those keystrokes. And I am going to. We're not gonna save it yet because I want to add a little bit of padding. Actually, I'll show you what this looks like. So far we're looking okay. Nothing too fancy. Obviously, as you can see, I'm no designer. So here's my testimonial. Purple's not too bad. It goes with the green. I did find it on a site where the colors are complementary at least. So give me a little bit of credit. Okay, so I want the full width again, just like we did up here. I need to make it full width, and I need to give it a little bit of padding. And so let's scroll down here, added padding. I'm not going to give it quite so much as the other one, so let's see what this looks like. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so now I wanted to go back and I wanted to make one of these buckets pop out. I'm going to make this middle one stand out a little bit. So let's see, let's go up here. Third item, second item. So I can go to column settings now and apply custom backgrounds the same way. So let's just give it a background color and see how that looks. Not too terrible. But then of course now it butts up right against that. So I can either add some more margin to my row, which is probably the easiest way to do it. Just add some custom margins, and I'm going to do a top margin of 1 and a bottom margin of 1. Now these have to be 0 through 5, these margins and the padding, and what it is, each number is 16 pixels. So A 1 is 16 pixels, a 2 is 32, so on and so forth. And if you're good at math, 0 means 0. I know. Super exciting. All right. That's what it looks like. So now that stands out, and I can even change the color of the font if I want to. So let's add some custom text, and we're just going to say white because that works. There we go. Not too shabby. Okay, so we added a testimonial. I did that. The next item here is going to be my conversion form. And this is going to be 2 rows, or 2 columns, I'm sorry. And the first column is where I'm going to put my form. So I'm going to click in here and go over here to insert items, and I'm going to click on form. It's going to ask me to select a form, and now I've done it. So there we go. And then over here I have some mumbo jumbo text to add. I don't remember what the form says, but we're just going to pretend it says sign up now. And here's how you do it. So a little bit more lorem ipsum. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Yep, there's my form. Again, I have padding issues and I have some margin issues, and I really want this form to stand out. So let's go ahead and add we're going to add some row margins, and I'm going to do a top margin of 2, bottom margin of 2. I want some good solid spacing here, and I want let's see, I'm not worried about padding. So then let's go down to the content area. This one I want to have a background color, so I'm going to give it this background color. So we got to choose background for these column settings. This is a dark blue, and then I need custom text. So if it's going to be dark blue, then I need to have some custom text. So that's probably a weird yellow color. It's probably going to look weird on here, but we'll see what it looks like. So there we go. So now we that is very ugly. So let's add some padding. Again, I have a couple columns, so remember, the easiest way is just to add these guys in here. Doop, doop, doop. And once we do that, it's going to add a little bit of padding already. Looks a lot better. And let's see here. So you can argue that that looks good or not, but we're just going to pretend it does. I mean, I could change that to white if it makes you feel better. All right, fine. Change that to white. But I also want to add a little bit more padding to this, because we're just going to add, let's see, 1 onto everything. Let's just see what that does. Very little. But at least change it to white. Looks a little bit better. Now we have this button down here, which for some reason is that color, gray. Got the sign up now. Now one thing to note that I did do for this, so if I shrink this up, this whole thing is responsive, by the way. So you're gonna see content stack and adjust properly. So as it gets smaller, like these buckets, they shrink up, and you know, now your form's here. But so here's the thing. So now you got this form up here. On a mobile device, your instructions show up below it. So let's fix that. Sometimes when you adjust that size, it moves. So you can just click this here and it'll bring it back into view. So let's change the row settings here. Shrink that. Ooh, where am I? Right here. Conversion form. So I want to reverse the mobile order. This only shows up if there's 2 items, because sometimes you'll have 1/3 on one column and 2/3 on the other column, or you know, text on the left and an image on the right, and you don't want the text to appear. So on mobile, you want it to be consistent, like image text, image text, image text. And if you alternate it, you know, image, text on the right, and then text, then image on the right, it looks a little weird on mobile. So we're going to click this button for this row, and it's going to swap the order. And as we scroll down here, now you see the sign up actually went over above this, so it swapped the order of these two items, which is very helpful. Okay, and then finally we are going to add a little bit of a footer. We are going to click that. I'm going to add row background. I want this to be, I don't know. Oh, sorry for you shortcut snobs out there. There you go, just for you. So we're going to do copyright. Now, a little trick, you don't have to do this. You can just set the year, or you don't even have to do copyright, but I'm going to insert a little bit of our liquid markup in here. Just a shortcut way. And so now that it actually puts liquid markup in there. And let's see, we're going to do Marketpath Inc. here. I'm going to center everything. Oh boy, I didn't like that, did it? Let's see if we can center this. Yeah, stuff gets a little bit wonky from time to time. Okay, so let's try this. We'll reinsert this. Whoop, did that go? Something weird's going on. Well, we're gonna skip it for now. It was bad form. Alright, so now this is our footer. Copyright Marketpath Incorporated. And then what we're going to do is change the row background color, make it full width, and we also want to add some margins. Top margin of 2. Well, we have a decent margin, don't we? Yeah, we already have good margin there. We don't need any more margin. Never mind. Forget the margin. Get rid of that. And I'm going to add some padding, though, because that will make it look a lot more substantial. And so, you know what? Let's change this and make the text white, just like the other stuff. See how this looks. Copyright Marketpath Incorporated. There we go. So we could add all kinds of other stuff to it, but that's just a really quick, well, let's see, we got about 22 minutes in. A quickish way to create a landing page, but I created this landing page in 22 minutes. So you know, the hardest part about this is creating the content and getting the images and the text and everything. So but once you have that with this package, you could easily create a landing page that works, you know, within 20 minutes. So, hope you enjoyed that. Oh yeah, haha, you almost got off easy. I have one more thing to show you, and I'm just going to talk about it. So let's say that I had a list of items, like a list of blog posts or a list of calendar entries that I wanted to feed in here automatically, such as upcoming event dates, or you know, webinars or something along those lines. Well, it's a little tricky to do that in here. So there's the new row that we have, or another row type that we have called row capture. And what this does, again, this is just for developers. So if you're a non-technical editor, then you can disappear. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. You're great. Hope to see you soon. But for this one, this is just a, we could call it blog post, for example. And in my template, I can actually render a whole snippet of HTML and pass it into this template. Then I can put it anywhere I want. So let's say that, let me scroll way up here. I can collapse all these. So I have my blog posts right here. I could actually move those up here. So I could render the blog posts in the template, and then I could just have them appear in this spot underneath my 3 buckets. So it's a pretty slick way to put dynamic content within this very dynamic template for non-technical editors. So let me show you an example of that. I'm not going to save this. That's this one with landing page with capture. So this is it just has 3 testimonials in it. And so it just basically creates 3 buckets. It picks 3 out at random. And if we go into the data store, you can see here, this is my testimonials data store. You can see that I have 4 testimonials in here of different people. And this randomly creates it. So this should change. Which is not. I thought I had random. Maybe I have to look at that again. But anyway, I'm going to go to the template and I'm going to show you the difference. So the first grid builder template that we built here, this is all it is. Here's your gallery template that allows you to put in the gallery, the banners at the top. And here is this is just if you want to put something in that content HTML area of the article. But this one here, this is the grid builder. So I mean, honestly, you could probably just limit it down to this. So you got a header, which you don't even really need. I mean, this whole thing could be a single template aside from the grid builder and the gallery. You could put all your HTML above and below this if you wanted to. So that's all there is for that template. But if I open up this other grid builder with capture, it's slightly different. You can see it's got the same header, the gallery. It's got that little content HTML snippet here if there's anything in it. And then I go through here and I grab my 3 testimonials. And when it downloads it here, it actually changes it to the actual unique ID of it, which is fine. It's not a big deal. I can change it to testimonials too if I wanted to. But I'm limiting to 3, and that's my random that I may have just done wrong. But we'll forget about that for now. And then I do a capture here into a variable called testimonials. So this is just HTML. And I loop through, I put my top part, I create my row, my grid, here's my cell, and then there's the testimonials title. And then for each of the items in this list of testimonials that's returned, I go through and I loop through and create these additional cells. And they are large for, so it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And they'll expand to a full screen at the medium or small screen sizes. So anyway, so I got that testimonial. I don't even have to pass it into this. I could, if I wanted to, pass it in like this. A little bit redundant, but then what happens in my, let's go ahead and open up that article. In wherever this is, so right here, this testimonials row capture type, all I provided was the variable name that I wanted to capture, and that matches up with this. Here's my grid builder template, and then if you look at the capture, then it shows up right there. So obviously not randomizing, but I'm not worried about that. So pretty easy way to do that. You could do that with, like I said, with blog posts, calendar entries, or some other dynamic content. I mean, you could put, A/B testing in here if you wanted to try different things and pass those to your Google Analytics Tag Manager to see what's working, what's not working. There's a lot of different things that you could do in here. It's a pretty powerful package. I'm pretty happy with it. I think there's a lot of capability with it, and I hope you enjoy it. So give it a try. If you have any questions, send us an email at support@marketpath.com, and we'd be happy to help you out in any way that we can.